Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how a teacher can create a conversation trees and then create NPCs to take responsibility for that tree um, to allow the students they can practice their speaking skills in English or in another language. So as a teacher, you need to go to conversation.makeaword.gameserver.ca and log in with your teacher account. Different from students' account, your teacher's account cannot be self-registered. So you need to write me an email so I can create a teacher account for you. So when you go to the teacher's portal, you click on sign in, and then you can enter your password. So in this case, we are going back to conversation list. So if you see someone's conversation, which if they are shareable, so you can see that, then you can always click on the edit conversation content and take a look to see if you like that. If you like, then you can create a copy of that content so you can do more edit. If you want to create your own, that is okay. So let's do this. So we can create our own conversation tree by clicking on add conversation. First of all, we need to talk about what the topic this conversation is about. So perhaps we can say this conversation is about travel, and the title could be like check in at the airport. Okay. So basically, if you don't want to have a difficulty level setting for your conversation, that will be by default level 1. If you want, you can check the difficulty setting and then choose which difficulty level you think your conversation is. So we can say this conversation belongs to level 2, perhaps. And for the language conversation, for the conversation, by default that will be American English. But if you like to use other English, that is also okay. And by the way, at the speaking based conversation quest system we created, actually you can create a conversation in different language, like in Japanese or in Korean. Um, for your students, so that is totally fine. So basically this is multi-language, so you don't need to only use that for your English course. You can use that for your other language course. Once you finish the input, you can click on add. If the conversation is added, the first thing you need to do is trying to create your first sentence in the conversation. Usually, the first sentence will be talked by the NPC, and then you will create some other sentence that you think you want your student, which is player, to talk. Um, so if you don't like to use blue for your NPC and green for your player, you can always change it by yourself. So you don't like that, so you probably want to say, I want to use a very light blue for my NPC, and I would like to use a yellow, light yellow for my player. That is fine. Your first sentence. So for example, I will say, okay, what can I do for you? Something like this. If you don't want to do this right now, it is okay. When you go back to the conversation list, you when you try to do the edit the conversation tree, you will always be prompt out about the first sentence. So when you click on that, this is from the NPC. So what you expect your students to talk, you can add a conversation. So for example, you probably want the student saying, so I want to check in. Or you probably want to say, okay, student can also say, good morning. So what will happen if a student say, I want to check in? You probably want to do more tests, and if they say good morning, then probably you want your staff saying, okay, good morning. Um, where is your destination? So in that case, as you can see, if the student say, I want to check in, you probably can say, okay, I also want the student, want the NPC say the same thing like a good morning, where is your destination? In that case, we can connect that. So you can click on connect and then choose this sentence. In that case, you can see, okay, I want to check in. When you have this connection, when you click on the test, you will see the highlight which in the conversation tree, so you can know which is the branch you connected to. If you click on the drop down list, now you will find you only have a delete option, because if you want to add more conversation, you need to add there, not here. So good morning, where is your destination? In that case, you can say, you can maybe ask the student saying different things. So for example, I'm going to, I don't know, Vancouver, perhaps. Or probably the student can say, here is my passport. And in that case, if they say I'm going to Vancouver, you probably will say, sure, can I have your passport? And if they say here is my passport, then probably you will say, oh, thank you. You can decide when the conversation will be end. So in this case, the conversation will be end just after the NPC say thank you. So that is what our conversation tree. We can say finish. When we finish, you can double check that. You will always be able to see the topic should be travel. Title is check in at the airport. So topic is title, travel, and check in at the airport. We have two. I'm not quite sure which one is what I just did. So let me double check. So I click on the second one. Okay, so this one is what we just did. So the second one is. So the first one is not. In that case, I can try to delete that, so you can understand. First of all, I click to stop share, and you can see the first travel becomes unshareable. And then I can try to delete that, or I can just change to another title. So in that case, I will not confuse. So once we have the conversation, now we can go to the NPC list. We can go to NPC list and then create an NPC. So we can create an NPC that probably we can call airport staff. Or we should say airline staff. And then we can choose which conversation this NPC will be responsible for. So that should be check in at the airport, new one. And then we can say finish. Once we do that, we can go back to the list or continue to create another NPC. So let's go back to list. When we go back to list, we can see the one we just created called staff of airlines checking in at the airport. So we can make it shareable or unshareable. If we are making it as shareable, then every student they can see that and they can talk to that NPC. We can edit, we can clone it, and we can try it. So we can try it by click on the play. So what can I do for you? I don't remember what we are saying. So probably I want to check in. I want to check in. Okay, not very good, but at least computer they can understand or another person who can understand. Good morning, where is your destination? So we can say um, I want to go to, I'm going to where? Vancouver, right? So I'm going to Vancouver. Okay, sure. Can I have your passport? And then I won because we finished the talk, right? So I got the 75 points because probably my first check-in is not very good. So that is everything about how to create a conversation and then create an NPC to connect to the conversation and trying to see whether or not the conversation you created are good enough. So thank you for watching. See you.